Alright, today we're going to look at section 1.5. Up to this point in this class, you've been given the equation of the line. And from the equation, you've been asked to give information. Today we're going to reverse that. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you information, you're going to turn around and give me the equation of the line. In order to do this, there are three formulae you need. Two of them you already know. The first one you need is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is, of course, the slope formula. The second one you will use a lot is y equals mx plus b. And, of course, that's known as the slope-intercept formula. Slope, because m is the slope, and 0, comma b gives you the y-intercept. And then the third one, and this one's probably a new one for most of you, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this one is called point slope. And the reason it's called point slope is m is the slope still, and x1 comma y1 is any point on the line. Doesn't have to be the intercept like it does for this formula up here. And we will see that you can use either one of those last two for almost any problem, but sometimes one is a little bit better than the other, and I'll talk about that as we go along here. Alright, so typical problems are going to look like this. I'm going to give you information, and from the information you're going to find the equation of the line for me. So I might say find the equation of the line with slope 5 and y-intercept 0, comma negative 2. Well, really very little to do with this problem. This problem, they give you the slope, they give you the y-intercept, so that right away tells me I want to use slope-intercept form. And all I have to do is fill in the numbers. Y equals 5x minus 2. That would be it. That would be all there would be to doing that problem. Alright, so number 2. Same directions, find the equation of the line, and again we'll stick with slope 5, but this time through the point 2, comma negative 4. Alright, so the big difference between problem 1 and problem 2, in problem 2 I give you the slope, but I did not give you the y-intercept. I gave you a different point, the point 2, comma negative 4. Okay, there are two different ways to do this problem, and I'm going to do them both ways, and we'll talk about why you might want to use one or the other. One way, this is the way I find many students like to do this problem. They like to use y equals mx plus b. They like that formula. It's quick, it's easy, they can remember it. They like to use that formula all the time. And for every problem we're going to do in this section, just about, you can use that formula, but we will see, I think, that the other formula has some advantages. Okay, so what we know this time is we know slope is 5. But we don't know b. We don't know b because we do not know the y-intercept. I don't know the y-intercept because my point here does not have a 0. So for right now, I can write y equals 5x plus b. And what we're going to do to find b is we're going to take these values and we're going to plug them in. So for the y number, we're going to use negative 4. And for x, we're going to use 2. And we can find b. Negative 4 equals 10 plus b. Subtract the 10. b is negative 14. So our answer is y equals 5x minus 14. So there's one way to do it. Perfectly correct. However, I'm going to do it a second way. And this is the way I would tend to do this problem. I would use this formula. I tend to use this formula anytime I don't know the y-intercept. So for this problem, number 1, back up here, I had the y-intercept. When I have the y-intercept, mx plus b is the way to go. For problem number 2, I do not have the y-intercept. That tells me that I like doing it this way. So here's all I have to do. Y minus my y1 number is negative 4 equals m is 5 times x minus my x1 number is 2. And I'm done. As far as I'm concerned, as the teacher, that's a perfectly correct answer. It's not as nice and easy as this one, and not as clean, and generally people like having their equation written this way in order to graph, which is nice, but this is correct. Now, just to show you that these two things really are the same. This is the same as y plus 4, minus a minus there, equals 5x minus 10. And then I subtract the 4 on both sides. I do get y equals 5x minus 14. Okay, so let me show you why you might want to use this formula as opposed to this one. This problem isn't all that convincing. This wasn't very difficult. New formula over here. I think that way it's a little easier, but not much. So your more typical problem is going to look like this. Generally, you're not going to be given the slope right out front like you were on those first two problems. So you're going to be given 2 points. So you want to find the equation of the line through, and you're going to be given 2 points. And I'm just going to make up 2 points here. 5, negative 4, and 2, 7. Alright, well the first thing I see is I don't have the slope. If you want to find the equation of the line, very, very often you need to know the slope. Not really much of an option there. So we're going to find the slope. We use our slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to be 7 minus negative 4 over 2 minus 5. That's 11 over negative 3. I'm going to write that as negative 11 thirds. Now I have 2 choices. And again, I'm going to do this problem both ways just to show you both ways. You can use y equals mx plus b, or you can use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y equals mx plus b. I know m, so I have y equals minus 11 thirds x plus, and then I go back up and I ask myself, do I know b? And the answer is, unfortunately, no, I do not know b, because I do not know the y-intercept. In order to know the y-intercept, I'd have to have a 0 for one of these two x's. I do not know the y-intercept, so I just put b for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick one of these 2 points. It doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to plug in my values and then solve for b. I think I will use 2, 7, just because both the numbers are positive. I think that's a good idea. I like using positive numbers. So I'm going to have 7 equals minus 11 thirds x, oops, not x, times, change that x to a times symbol there, 2 plus b. And here's where this gets a little bit messy. I have 7 equals, I need to think of 2 as being 2 over 1, and I multiply my fractions. So I multiply the tops, that's negative 22 over 3 plus b. And then I have to get the b all by itself, so I have to add 22 over 3. Alright, now in order to add these fractions, I need to think of 7 as a fraction. So 3 on bottom, think of 7 as being 7 over 1, multiply the bottom by 3, so multiply the top by 3, that's 21. And I have to add my fractions, that's 43 over 3 equals b. So there's the difficulty right there. Using y equals mx plus b, when your slope has a fraction, you got to deal with the fractions, and that's kind of a pain in the neck. So we write our final answer as y equals minus 11 thirds x plus 43 thirds. Okay, now, the way I would prefer to do it. I would prefer to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I use y minus. And I pick one of the values to be y1. And the truth is, it doesn't matter which one. I can use negative 4 or I can use 7. I'm going to use 7, just again, because it's a positive number. So I would write y minus 7 equals m we determine that to be negative 11 thirds times x minus 2. And again, as far as I am concerned, that's a complete and correct answer. Okay, so I want you to pause this video now. I'm going to write down some homework problems for you to do. I want you to pause this video, work on these problems, and then start the second video. There are your 4 homework problems associated with this video. You may use either y equals mx plus b or y minus y1 equals m minus x1. That's up to you. I think for some of these problems, one formula is better than the other, but either one of them will work for all of the problems.